Welcome back to BioStock Live, where we are now changing the language to English. And the first company presenting in English is Iconovo and its CEO, Johan Wäborg. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Iconovo is a company that has the vision to radically transform inhaled therapy by providing unique devices with tailored dry powder formulations. And I would like to go through this presentation today and present to you how we create investor value and customer value. And I would like to show our platforms, some of the applications and how you use them. I also want you to get an overview of some of the projects, the value part of them, some of the possibilities and risks. And I also want to talk to you about the plans that we have going forward for this year and for the near future. Iconovo develops and out-licenses complete inhalation products based on our proprietary platforms. These are our inhalation devices. We have IcoCap from the left, we have IcoRes, Ico1 and Icopre. So we create value for investors by addressing enormous global markets. We have an attractive business model to address these markets, and we now have a portfolio of projects as well. And by having a wide portfolio of projects, we also have a more controlled risk in Iconovo compared to other, for example, biotech companies. And of course, as any company with a good idea, you need to have an attractive customer value proposition, and we have that as well at Iconovo. And actually, very few people, very few companies in the world can do what Iconovo does. We are situated in Lund. We're a rather small company today. We're 27 employees, situated in Medicon Village in the former AstraZeneca buildings. But we are a global company with global reach and global customers. 2020 was a very good year for us. We had a 50% increase in our revenue, and we managed to land 2 new customer agreements. One mid-year, BNC Korea, and one towards the end of the year, Monash University, which I will tell you more about later. We are listed on Nasdaq First North in Sweden. We did our IPO in April 18, and today we are a well-capitalized company. We had just under 62 million SEK at the end of last year. And we have a market cap of 440 million SEK. This is the most well-known market that we address today. It's the asthma and COPD market. 590 million people around the globe at least live with these 2 diseases. And this is a huge market. It's 30 billion US. And out of these 30 billion, actually what is a bit special is that more than, or a little less than half, is aggregated to these 5 inhalation platforms. And we at Iconovo, we can address the pharmaceutical agents in those 5 platforms. So this is our market. And when you look at them, you see that many of them have already lost their patent around the globe, but still the value is maintained. And the reason for that is that it is difficult to make an inhalation pharmaceutical device. First, you have to be able to make the powder. You have to make that perfect, make it flow, and you have to make an inhalation device that is unique, not infringing any patent, and has a great usability. Then, what is most difficult of all things is that you have to make those 2 components play very well together. So when a company comes and wants to launch something for an inhalation purpose, they look at the long development time, they see high risk and a high cost. And we offer them to shorten that time significantly and make that at a lower cost and a much lower risk for them. And we can do that since we have the ability to develop complete inhalation products. This company is built, it was founded in 2013 on inhalation, on designing inhalation devices. And as time went by, we built out the company, and today we can make the powder formulations, and we have a department that can make the analytics. So the Iconovo offer is to develop pharmaceutical formulations optimized to one of our inhaler platforms. And then we sign agreements where we license out exclusively a combination of one of our platforms, the drug of the customer's choice, and at the territory of the customer's choice. And this model is very flexible in the way that we can use the same platform for another customer in another contract. We shorten the time to market for dry powder inhalation products, and we can do that because we have an integrated way of developing these products. We develop the inhalation device, and we develop the formulation in parallel. Once we have done that, the customer takes over, does the pivotal PK trials, the registration, and the launch eventually. And from that day, we will also receive part of the revenue in terms of royalty. There is a higher probability for us of reaching the market than other pharma company. For example, if you look at clinical stage novel pharma companies, they have to pass both phase 1, 2, 3, and then go to the market and register. Only 14% of these companies actually are successful in reaching the market. If you compare that to the generic side, it's more probable for them to reach the market. Over 65% of generic pharma actually reach the market. And we would claim that with the integrated model that we have at Iconovo, we can increase that probability further. Our revenue model, it's quite simple. In the beginning of a contract, of a collaboration, we sign the agreement and we have a technology access fee. Then we develop the project, and as we go along, the customer pays us milestone payment when we succeed. And in the end, when the product is launched, we receive our fair share of the revenues in terms of royalty or profit split. So let's take a look at our platforms and some of the projects. This is a picture that has become increasingly complex over the years, and I'm actually very happy to say so, because this means that we have more projects. This is the 7 projects that we have, and taking it from the top, you will see the 2 projects that we have in our Icopre inhalation device. One is with Amneal, which I will talk more about, and the other one is with Intes, an Indian company. In the middle of the page you have 2 products. One is Ultibro and one is Seabury, and they are both with the company BNC Korea for the Asian market, and they are in our Icocap. A little bit further down we have Stevanato, which is our global partner for production and marketing of Icocap. Then the second one from the bottom is very interesting. I will tell you more about it. It's our newest contract. It's inhaled version of oxytocin in our Ico1 with Monash University. And the last one is our development project in Icopre that sets the target for the loss of exclusivity of some substances in the US 2025. So let's start with Icopre. This is our multi-dose inhaler. It has some very nice feedback functions that really differentiates this from other inhalers in the market. For example, you have an exact dose counter. You have a feature that lets the patient know that they actually have inhaled the substance. And you have a nice Nordic design, and you have room inside it to make it compatible for digital components. So this is really the inhaler that we developed furthest since 2014, and this is our flagship for generic pharma. So this inhaler addresses the 590 million people and the plus 14 billion US dollars. That's where we want to go with this device. And the example for a contract for the Icopre platform is the one we have with Amneal. It's a license agreement for 20 years, and as usual, the royalty is between 5 and 10%. And this one is for the European region. And what is really nice with this is the contract itself. It has a huge potential, but it's also a huge potential in the remaining districts, so in the remaining parts of the world. Europe has around 10 billion sales of Symbicort, and the world has around 30 billion. So we still have 66% of the potential left within this. And the calculation example for our future revenues here is within the Amneal European contract, we can get between 50 and 100 million SEK per year from the year that we launch, and we have the launch year set as 2023. If you look at the global potential, it's about threefold, from 150 up to 300 million SEK for us per year for 20 years. Icopre, we have set some goals for our development this year. We are right now performing the tech transfer, and next quarter the company Amneal will start the pilot PK trial, and you can expect to see results from this trial the second half of the year. And of course, we're all aimed to launch this product in Europe 2023. Ico1. Ico1 is our innovative single-dose inhaler for discreet and effective use. And this is a small thing, but it can carry a very large dose. It's also quite innovative in the way that it consists of only one plastic piece that you fold together, resulting in the possibility to produce this at a really low cost. So it's very well suited for innovative inhalation projects where the molecules can be a little bit bigger and bulkier, for example, biologics or other substances. So our vision for this platform is that this can replace injections. This solves a very large problem today with hazardous waste and cold storage of pharma injectables. We all know that from the issues with COVID-19 vaccines, for example, today. And another interesting thing is that through the lung, you have a very fast onset of action as well. So you can think of all the indications that has to do with acute medicine, for example, allergic reactions, epilepsy, coronary infarcts, or something like that. So the opportunity is huge here. But the real concrete example is the deal that we signed just before Christmas with Monash University, backed up by Janssen and Johnson & Johnson, for an inhaled version of oxytocin in our Ico1. And oxytocin is used traditionally for women during childbirth. And WHO recommends that all women across the globe should get access to oxytocin during their childbirth. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen, since it's quite difficult to transport in cold chain and to store in the cold the injectables. The picture here illustrates how it can look like in a hospital, for example, in Africa. Every year, 75,000 mothers die while giving birth. And this is something that we really can address with a dry powder version of oxytocin in our Ico1. So this license agreement is as well for 20 years, 5 to 10% royalty. And during the development phase, we will have 9 million SEK in technology access, and we will also additionally get paid for development work. So this really is an important milestone for us, and it signifies an entry for Iconovo into the field of innovative inhalation pharma. The last example I want to give you is Icopre. So Icopre is our strategic development targeting the US market, but also the global market, but the Ellipta portfolio in the US in 2025. This is an inhalation device that will be equivalent to the GSK Ellipta inhaler. It will contain 5 formulations, and it will work in the same manner as the Ellipta does. Open, inhale, close. It will have an exact dose counter, and it will be suitable for triple combinations as well, so it's future-proof. And this market is globally, it's huge. In the US, it's the major part of this. So just as an example, the first product you see on top there is has a $1.2 billion US dollars in 2019, and the total value of this market will be $4.5 billion dollars in 2023, according to GSK. So our goals for 2021 here is to have the inhaler development fully ready. We will show it for the first time at the RDD conference in May, and we will, towards the end of the year, have it fully injection molded and manufactured in small series. Then we will have 5 formulations ready with data to show customers, and we will, throughout the year, ramp up our marketing efforts. So finally, I hope I have been able to show you how we, in some ways, create value for investors and how we create value for customers. We do this by having an attractive customer offer, of course. We do this within a high-tech field, actually with very few competitors. We are a platform company. We have 4 proprietary and patent-protected inhalers today. We have a lower risk in our projects compared to novel pharma projects that needs to pass through all the clinical stages and registration. And not the least, we already have 5 projects, 5 license agreements based on our inhalation platforms. And also, I can mention that we have quite high targets set for this year. We would like to reach 2 new customer agreements, and we have an accelerated timeline. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan, for that presentation. This project with Monash University,
yes.
It's your first project with innovative inhalation drugs, like you said. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, first of all, it's a really interesting field, since there is such big unmet medical need within that field. And we have kind of been chosen to be the inhaler of choice for Monash and J&J, because our ICO1 is extremely cheap to produce. You just need to produce 1 plastic piece that you fold together, which means that you can launch this across the globe. You can produce millions of these. We estimate that you probably need to treat around 65 million women per year to have the desired effect. And that's also estimates from WHO to have an impact on these 75,000 deaths every year. So that's the aim. And the market itself is kind of also interesting. It's a growing market with oxytocin. Today it's around 75 million US dollars, but growing rapidly as well.
And you also said that, you have said that you have a goal to sign 2 new deals during this year.
Yeah.
How are you working to create the conditions necessary for that to happen?
Well, that's kind of why I am in Iconovo from the beginning, to expand and accelerate our commercial model. So we started out quite intensively, and everybody is fired up to do this, and we have hired some very talented people internally, both to take care of kind of in the back end the projects, to be able to receive more projects, the project managers also have interactions with the customers, of course. And then we have strengthened up our business development department. I am very active there. The VP development, Roger, is very active, and we have hired Mons, who is our alliance management director, recently as well.
And
so,
sorry.
So we're ready to go.
You're ready to go, and I'm not letting go of these these new deals.
Yeah.
Finally, could you tell us a bit about what markets that you're interested in when it comes to the new deals?
Well, like I said in the beginning there, we are a global company, so we're often looking for a good mix, but we're looking for quality companies that are not too early in their stage. They need to be able to show something to go into a stage where we can have a good impact and quickly accelerate them through the development towards launch. So we want to select the right projects, but we also, when it comes to geographies, we want to have a good spread there. US is extremely interesting, of course. You see a lot of innovative companies coming from the US, but also here in Sweden we have a lot of innovative things just happening all around us here in Lund. So we don't exclude anything, except that the markets are usually global nowadays. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.